To apply this knowledge today,
a truly great teacher, you're going to need to do something that 95% of teachers never do. You need to train your voice to transfer the information to the student effectively. Now, probably you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, I've heard a couple of these podcasts, and Mr. Dockery, you could use a little of that training yourself. And frankly, I know exactly what you're saying, and I'm working on it. But training your voice to deliver information in a way that grabs people's attention is vitally important. You'll need to be able to master voice inflection and voice modulation so that you can grab people's attention and keep them interested. First thing that you should do if you decide that this is something you're going to take part in is record yourself. Record one of your lectures from the beginning to the end, all the way through. Listen to the way you begin. Listen to the way you broach every subject. Listen to the way you lead in from one subject to the next, how you present it, how you sum things up at the end, and then how you move into the next section of your topic. Do this for each and every portion of the lecture. Discuss, or I suppose don't really discuss, but listen how you handle objections, or how you handle particular questions, or what, if anything, you do to engage your students. Do you say or do things during your materials that allows the students a better grasp on what they're doing? Finally, see how you sum up your materials at the end of the day. Do you end with an assignment followed by question and answer? Do you end with a question? Do you end with the assignment? Do you end with the assignment followed by question and answer? Do you end with a happy message for everyone to leave and have a great day? Do you end with a work session? Do you end with a work session where you then go around person to person for the remainder of the class period, assisting them as needing, asking leading questions? Or do you simply say, that's all the time we have for today, thank you? Think about your entire lecture and your lecture process from beginning to end. You may find yourself completely surprised. Yes, you know your materials. Yes, you know your materials. Yes, you are covering your bases. Yes, you are putting forth the vital information, but you may be surprised to know that most of the things that you say are not necessary. They are superfluous. So if you are running through your general lecture and you find on listening to it that you're speaking around the points rather than getting directly to them and then showing some examples of them, there may be places where you can take advantage of this new information. You may be surprised to hear the non-answers that you give when someone raises an objection or has a question. You may find that you dance around the information, and because it's happening in the moment, you think you've handled it very, very well. But in fact, listening to it upon reflection, you find that what you're really doing is avoiding saying something negative. You may be surprised to note that even in the parts where you are very excited, you are speaking in a monotone. You may find that when you are handling objections, you are not doing a very good job at addressing what it is that they are objecting about. you may find that, excuse me, oh drat. You may find upon reflection that you are answering the question perhaps that you were given, but you totally missed what it was that the person was trying to find out or what they were asking for. You went by the letter of the question rather than the spirit. Finally, as you listen back to this lecture, think to yourself, you are a person with experience. You know something about what you're talking about. Would you find this teacher to be effective? Would you find it to be exciting? Do you find that you are incensed to learn more, or are they just reading the PowerPoint? Are they just pointing to the lecture notes? What is it about this material that you're listening to in your recording that is really taking that teaching to the next level? Chances are it may be embarrassing to think these thoughts when you're listening to what you are listening to. Although I am guilty of not doing this enough in my presentations, I'll give you an example of how voice modulation and inflection can be used within your lecture. I would like to emphasize, however, that your voice is critical in all portions of the lecture. It is critical in all parts of question and answer. It is critical in all situations regarding the transfer of information from you to them. Now, I will look here to talk about how it is that a student can prepare for the amount of time they're going to need to run through one of your classes. It is a question that many professors get. It is a point of importance that many more professors leave off of the introductory lecture, that they leave off of the intro to their courses, that they leave off of their syllabus, and that many students find that has been left off completely. It may even be spoken about during orientation, but that's about it. So, for instance, all right, today one of the questions that I get as a teacher is, how much time should I be spending on my projects? A good rule of thumb for this or any class is that when you are looking to find how much time you need to spend on your classes, look to the number of credit hours. For every credit hour, you should spend 2 contact hours. This is time that you will spend with your professor, or in an online class, this is time that you will have set aside for reading the book, reading lecture materials, making sure that you understand the concepts and watch the videos. Now, excuse me, for every contact hour that you have, you should spend 1 to 1.5 hours on your homework. Homework is sketching, working on your projects, doing research, beginning a project, refining a project idea, or presenting your piece for a presentation. If you have additional time outside of your contact hours, especially if you're in an online class or a hybrid class, use that time for research or for beginning the sketch process. This will allow you to have more ideas to move through to the refinement stage. So in short, if you have a 1 credit hour course, you should have 2 contact hours and an additional 2 to 3 hours every week set aside for homework, or 4 to 5 hours every week. If you have a 2 credit hour class, you should have 4 contact hours and 4 to 6 hours set aside for homework, for a total of 8 to 10. For a 3 credit hour class, you want to have 6 hours for contact every week and an additional 6 to 9 hours for homework, for a total of 12 to 15 hours each week. For a 4 credit hour class, you want to have 8 hours for contact every week and 8 to 12 hours for homework. Meaning for a 4 credit hour class every week, you should set aside 16 to 20 hours just for that one class if you want to be able to produce portfolio quality work. So that may be one example of how you may do it. Here's another example. By the way, these may sound cheesy, but they can be quite effective. Here's another example. When someone comes to you with an objection to a question, and we'll continue to work with the time question, you can sometimes assist them to make the proper decision just by repeating it back to them with your voice inflection high, like it's a question. Mr. Dockery, I don't have enough time to do that kind of work. Mr. Dockery, there's no way that I can set aside that much time during my week. Mr. Dockery, I want quality without that type of time or money commitment. You can't you can't give that type of time? You can't find that type of time during the week? You want that type of quality without that type of time or monetary commitment? By turning his statement into a question, you force them to defend themselves and their decisions, rather than forcing them to succumb to an argument on your part. Rather than trying to force them to change their opinion once they have originally stated that they don't have the time, they don't have the money, they want the quality without the hard work. You force them to defend their own position. Are you sure you want that quality? Are you positive that you don't have that much time to do the work? You can't find it? Are you sure you can't find it? They will possibly find themselves in a situation where they find that they really do have a tenable position, or they find themselves in a situation where they probably could find the time to make that work if they chose to. If you start off by making arguments why they should do something, you immediately put yourself on the defensive. Whereas if you simply read their statement back to them with a question, then you don't exactly put them on the defensive, but you force them into a position where they have to be wholly honest if they want to get their end result. It is a simple technique, but it's not easy to do. You're not pushing hard to put them in this bad position. What you are really trying to do is find out what information you don't know. If they're telling you they don't have time to do that type of work, but they still want to have excellent results, is it because they really don't have time? They wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, they do their morning run because they're required to by their doctor to keep their materials, their heart in good shape. Then they go to work at 6 o'clock. They get off work at 2 in the afternoon and they drive from work to the school where they have a seated class from 3 until 6. then they have a night class from 6 until 10, and then they go home and they sleep from 10:30, 11 o'clock until 4 o'clock in the morning.
So the student in this example really doesn't have time for it. In fact, they've probably overdone the amount of classes that they have. They will probably need to either cut back on work, cut back on their classes, or cut back on sleep. And this is often something that no student can do. To apply this knowledge today, record your next lecture. That's it. Just record it. Then take some time, set aside an hour or 2 hours or so, where you can listen to your lecture, maybe just on the ride home. Listen to your lecture, note your delivery, note your voice modulation and your voice inflection, and see whether you would buy what you're selling. After you have listened to your lecture and thought really hard about it, practice saying this sentence. I didn't say he stole her money. Try saying it different ways with different voice modulation and different inflection to make the sentence seem to imply something different. Given as a monotone, this implies it's fact. However, if you change up the inflection or intonation or the pausing modulation within it, you can make it seem different. I did not say he stole her money. Implies that it was said, but not by you. I did not say he stole her money. Implies that the money is gone, but maybe it wasn't taken, maybe it was given. Similarly, I didn't say he stole her money. Implies that something was stolen, but perhaps it was not the money or just the money. Raising it up at the end will make it seem like it is a question. I didn't say he stole the money. Implies I didn't say he stole the money. Implies that you did say it, but you are disbelieving of the fact that someone says it didn't happen. I did not say that he stole her money implies vigorously that you did not do this fact. I did not say he stole the money. Implies that the money is missing. You did not directly say it, but you may have implied that he did it. I did not say he stole the money. Implies that someone other than the accused was the one that stole the money. I didn't say he stole her money. Maybe he did take it, but maybe he borrowed it. Maybe it was given. Maybe he does have the money, but it wasn't theft. I did not say he stole her money. Implies that something took place, but perhaps we have the wrong victim. I did not say he stole her money. Those 8 words have been used over and over and over again. The words have not changed. The order of the words have not changed. The only thing which has changed is the inflection or the emphasis on these words. By changing the emphasis on any single word, you can make those 8 words say 8 different things. Practicing this sentence to say different things will allow you to be assured that you are giving all of the information that you need. But if you are giving it properly through voice inflection and modulation, it will make the way that you speak more interesting. And having your students find you to be interesting is the key for them to pay attention. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Please go out, record yourself. Please practice saying these different things. And, go ahead and share this with like-minded individuals. Please go ahead and feel free to comment in the doobly-doo below. And, excuse me, and just please blow up that like button. Just get everybody you know to take part. Also, feel free to go ahead and send me any suggestions for future content. We're always open to that. All right, so thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this, and by all means, design your future.